Welcome back to Chemastro. Today I'm going to react and give my opinions about the interview done by Crypto Banter. Shout out to Crypto Banter. He did a great interview with the legendary Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor, the guy who always bullish about Bitcoin because he pretty much has a lot of Bitcoin. If he's not bullish about Bitcoin, then something is wrong with that guy. That guy pretty much has his whole life in Bitcoin. Now he has like $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. Imagine if Bitcoin drop, probably that guy's heart rate will go boop. Okay, hopefully not, because we don't want this guy. We want him to be well and healthy and live forever because that guy is cool. Okay, so I want to get to the point. So they did this interview. I think it's really cool. I want to dumb it down a little bit. I want to explain it in an easier way that normal people can understand, because Michael Saylor is not a normal human being, and when he really talks, he really talks. He doesn't stop, right? He doesn't even allow you to, even though what he says is a little simple, but he doesn't allow anybody to talk except for him. So think of it as me now trying to pose in him a little bit so we can understand what the hell he's talking about, right? So I'm going to start by, I'm not going to go chronologically from the start to the finish. I'm just going to go with the points I think they're more interesting at the start, and go from there. Whatever feels better for me, right? So they mentioned a couple of things in that video, and I want to skip the accounting rules. I don't think it really matters that much now to talk about it. What I want to talk about now is the Bitcoin spot ETF. Let's just see what he said about that. And if you don't know what is an ETF, come on, you should know what the hell is an ETF. If you don't know what is an ETF, why you're in this? Come on.
I think that
Let me just put it in a little fast because these guys are a little slow. Playback speed. Yeah, let's just do it 1.25. See.
the spot Bitcoin ETF
You know what? Let's just do faster. That guy is a little slow. 1.5. Okay.
is a monstrous offering capability that will have an impact first. That'll have an early impact because to the entire conventional Wall Street banking system. What it means is people with trillions of dollars of assets in 10 minutes can buy $10 million of Bitcoin, and they can do it no money down. So I could literally buy a $10 million house in 60 seconds with no cash. Right? That's what happens when you get to an ETF.
I want to stop here. I'm sorry, but he mentioned the house. He always mentions buying a house. So Michael Saylor's philosophy or understanding of why Bitcoin is so valuable is because he keeps resembling owning Bitcoin as an asset to owning a house. Because this is what the rich people do. The rich people, if I'm a rich man, I have $100 million sitting around somewhere, and I want this $100 million to be $1 billion. Let's just make it a different example. I have $1 million. I need $1 million to become $10 million in 10 years. What would be the first thing that's going to come to my mind that make a little bit of sense? The first thing that come to my mind that make a little bit of sense is to take that $1 million and buy a house. Because I know that house in 10 years will probably be worth than $1 million. It can be 10, it can be 5, it can be 2, it can be 3. It doesn't matter. So owning assets, especially houses, mostly houses, is the best and easiest ways known to man till this moment to keep the value of your money. Because if you keep your cash on you, the value goes down because of inflation, and it's not really increasing in value, right? So he keep comparing the idea of buying Bitcoin, which is other people like Robert Kiyosaki keep comparing Bitcoin to gold, because he loves gold. He also like real estate, but he loves gold, which I also think it's a good idea. But I am with Michael Saylor thinking that gold, Bitcoin is better than gold because it is very easy to transfer my Bitcoin to you, or your Bitcoin to John, or whoever, in a split of, it's not a split of a second, like in a very short time. If I own a house, if I'm that millionaire guy, have a $1 million house, and I want to transfer that money, that worth of value to somebody living in the other side of the hemisphere, it's really hard, right? It's impossible, pretty much. I have to sell the house and give them the cash, which is too much work. If I have gold, like Robert Kiyosaki, $1 million, probably gonna put it in a bag, go over the plane, and give it to whoever I want to give the gold to. But good luck doing that. I don't even think it's possible. It's impossible, right? Can you actually bring kilos of gold, like pounds and pounds of gold in a bag and go through the airport? Good luck doing that, unless you have a private jet. But even I don't think you can pass through security with that much amount of gold. So he keep comparing Bitcoin as an asset to real estate because he want to say that Bitcoin can be a store of value.
And so that will plug every major bank, every investment bank, all the money managers, all of the conventional Wall Street players into the asset class immediately.
Wait, just take one step back. What do you mean no money down? So if a manager wants to buy $10 million worth of Bitcoin ETF, what do you mean they don't have to put money down?
Let's say you're a hedge fund and you've got $1 billion under management. You've got an account with a big wirehouse like a JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs. And you've currently got it invested in Apple or Google or Facebook or other securities or ETFs that trade on those systems. If you wanted to buy $10 million of Apple stock, you could pick up the phone and say, give me $10 million of Apple, put the phone down. And if you don't have the cash in your account, your banker will forward you the cash at SOFR plus 50 basis points. Right. So you would pay 5% interest, and they would just go ahead and buy the $10 million of Apple stock. And then if you're short the cash, you're going to owe 5% interest on it over the course of the next year. But it's basically completely financed. Now, if you wanted to buy $10 million of an ETF like Bitcoin, and it's a spot ETF, you could do the same thing. You could say, buy me $10 million of Bitcoin ETF. They would front you the money, and you've got it in your account by the end of the day. Now, if you want to buy $10 million worth of Bitcoin, the asset, and you're that hedge fund, here's what happens today without the spot ETF. You have to go to your boss and say,
Before he's going to explain what, okay, so just summarize what he said. Pretty much ETF allow big guys a lot of money to just go buy Bitcoin on the spot. Because right now, if you want to buy the Bitcoin, that's what he's going to say now, by the way. Let me just give you like a heads up. There's so many ways as a rich man, as a rich person, or any other company, whoever has a lot of money to invest. You can go to a bank and tell them, hey bank, I have $10 million hedge fund. I have $10 million now, right? Okay, prove it. Damn, I see it. Okay, in my bank account, there's $10 million. Bank, I want to purchase stocks worth of $10 million. Wow, okay, you're a crazy man. I'm not really. I want to do it. Fine. We're gonna give you a loan for $10 million to buy to buy the stocks because we know you have $10 million. That's like, we know that you're worth that much, but there's gonna be an interest, 5 to 10%. So that's why they say rich people keep getting richer, because they have so many options. And think of that. They have so many options to grow their wealth. So if Bitcoin becomes an ETF, that means this rich people, if they can buy stocks or buy real estate or buy this or buy that, now we're going to add another thing to the row of things they can buy, which is going to be Bitcoin. And because Bitcoin now is trendy, they will be interested in buying Bitcoin. So he's going to explain now why these rich people or these big entities cannot buy Bitcoin on the fly at the moment.
I want to set up a new brokerage relationship with Coinbase. Then you have to get approval. Then you have to go to Coinbase. Then you have to get KYC. You have to wait 12 weeks. After the 12 weeks, if you've got it set up, then you've got to go to your board. You've got to change your trading mandate and get the permission to buy this. Then you've got to assign 3 people in finance to do then you've got to establish a trading plan. And after you've done that takes like a year of bureaucratic moves. By the way, and they're going to say, no, wait a minute. We're going to establish. You have to modify the compensation system, the compliance system, the custody system.
I mean, I get it.
Okay, and they're going to say, why would you want to do this for 1% of your portfolio? And so let's say you did do it. If you took the year, and if they agreed to rebuild all of their systems and rewire them so you could buy this Bitcoin, then you have to go back to your boss and say, oh, I need 10 million cash because Coinbase can't advance you the money. So then after you go and you buy the Bitcoin, the 10 million.
I just want to stop here. So it's funny because if you go down, you're going to see that Coinbase is actually trying to do a lending loan program. Let's see. Borrow cash using Bitcoin as collateral. No, this is borrow cash, but I don't think they can lend you money to buy Bitcoin. But I think I read this somewhere. Let me just verify that. Coinbase quietly launches innovative crypto lending service. That's why I read a few days ago. Launching new crypto lending service. Let's just see if we can get quick news. I want to just mention that this is a very interesting point. What is known about the lending service? Clients can lend money through the exchange and get collateral worth. Oh, that's exactly. So it seems like Coinbase actually is working on what he's saying that is missing. Maybe Coinbase is trying to compete with the ETFs. So pretty much what Michael Saylor was talking about is, if I am a guy who want to buy now, want to get a loan to buy Bitcoin, because I told you I have $10 million, I want to buy $10 million of Bitcoin without really using the $10 million. Because this is what the rich people do. They take loans to buy more stuff, okay? But they keep their cash with them because they want to use it for whatever, for their lifestyle, I guess. So you cannot do that with Bitcoin at the moment. That's why you need the ETF. But it seems like Coinbase is trying to work on that, which is very interesting, right?
Bitcoin, then on the rest of your portfolio, the conventional Wall Street ETFs and stocks, you can borrow against them up to 50%. You can even, like against Apple stock, you could borrow 80% loan to value for nothing. But there's nobody that's going to give you a loan against the Bitcoin. Yeah. So it's not collateral in the Wall Street system. It's the second system. So what I'm saying here is Bitcoin, the underlying asset, is impossible to finance, takes a year to buy, it requires an extreme amount of systems reconstruction. And it causes everyone that you work for to be worried. Like they're all going to worry. Well, what if you buy the Bitcoin and you wire it out to your own wallet? And what if you lose?
Exactly. What if I buy the Bitcoin? Okay. I'm a guy who works with this company, right? Boss. And he mentioned that, by the way, but I'm guessing a different way. I'm just going to go buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin. Okay. So I'm going to buy it in Coinbase. That means manually, I'm just going to go there. There's like a private key. There's so many steps, and people who bought Bitcoin understand that. And understand everybody, and I can bet my life on it, who had tried to buy even $100 worth of crypto, they had this moment at least once in their life. Oh my God, I made a mistake. I lost all the money. I had it. I had it multiple times because it's because everything is actually hash keys, right? Private keys. You just don't know what's going on. You don't know whom you're sending to. You're sending from your key, which is a private key, to another key, which is another private key. It's not like banking. When you send from a bank account to another number, then you get a confirmation of the name. It feels a little too cryptic for us humans. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm seeing some services now. They give you like domain names for your wallets, but the whole idea is to keep the privacy, right? So back to the point. If I'm a person trying to buy crypto in the name of my company, so I go there. What if I make a mistake? What if I try to buy that $10 million and I made a mistake? I lost the money forever. That's another problem with crypto too. If it's gone forever. So there's a human error thing that people are scared of. That's why they want to go with the ETF, because the ETF will have human beings behind it doing it, and they're gonna secure it for you, right?
Use it. And so there's a lot of headaches. It's just not going to happen. And if it does happen, you can't borrow against it. But the spot Bitcoin ETF means I can have the same thing in one day for free. And then if it doubles or triples in value, I got $30 million of Bitcoin. I can go borrow $15 million against the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I've already got the loan agreement. I've already got the best credit terms. I've got 50 basis point credit spread. So you see, one of these things is plugged into Wall Street. And the other thing is for the pioneers, right? The early adopters that want to take the arrows in their back. And
so yeah, that's it. The second point is not. It's just talking about some general stuff like, well, if you started at the start, you're just lucky. If you become mainstream, like most people now, you're just not gonna make the same profits, okay? So that was the very first thing I wanted to talk about, which is the ETF. The second thing is we did talk about the ETF, did we? Bitcoin, yeah, we did talk about the Bitcoin spot ETF impact on the crypto market. There was another point, which is the BTF effect on MicroStrategy shares. This is very interesting. So Michael Saylor, if you don't know what he's doing, I'm just gonna give you a quick like explanation. What the hell is he doing right now? Michael Saylor owns a lot of Bitcoin under his company MicroStrategy, and if I go to look at MicroStrategy trading view, you just wait for a sec. I want to show you something. It's a Nasdaq. It's under the Nasdaq, right? Let's clean up that. Do the weekly. Yeah, that looks better. That looks a little bit like the Bitcoin chart. It's crazy, eh? But let's go back in history. So Michael Saylor in the 2000, do you see this on the date at the bottom? It's 2000, March 2000. He bought a lot in the dot-com boom. He bought a lot of stuff. His stock went up to $3,000. So that guy really likes to do new trendy things in the technology. He's into that. So his company was buying a lot of dot-com the dot-com bubble thing did go all the way up and went down. It's pretty much a company. That's what he says. It makes software, right? But he just want to be in the stock market. He just want to be he keep doing these things. He want to have his stock, which is the MicroStrategy stock now, to become a reflection of Bitcoin. So what he did is in 2020, when the bull run happened, he bought a lot of Bitcoin under MicroStrategy, which made him, because he is part of the stock, right? He's part of the Nasdaq. If I want to invest in Bitcoin indirectly without purchasing from crypto exchanges and be worried that I might lose my money, all that stuff we talked about, I can just go buy MicroStrategy, and that's what BlackRock did. By the way, BlackRock, MicroStrategy ownership, they have at least 8% ownership. That's crazy. BlackRock is eyeing Bitcoin for a long time now. So what he did is he transformed his because he bought a lot of Bitcoin, and he goes everywhere and he keeps saying like, we are this, we are this, pro Bitcoin, we are the Bitcoin thing. So he's allowing his company to become like semi-ETF, right? So he's allowing that if you want to buy Bitcoin in a way that a little more secure, you can just buy our shares, because their share is It looks exactly like Bitcoin. If I just bring it here and just put it here. Yeah, they're locked now. Can I lock it regular? Yeah, I want to open the other one. Scale price. Can I scale it? Scale price. I can scale one. Move scale the left. Okay, I really getting a boomer point here, moment here. So anyhow, it's just exactly like the Bitcoin. Looks very similar. Okay, we can even see here. Okay, so yeah, so the crypto banter guy, whatever, I forgot his name. He was just asking him. So wouldn't the ETF affect MicroStrategy? And pretty much Michael Saylor said that no, because there's 3 ways to buy Bitcoin, either directly, like how I do it and how most of the people do it now, through wallets, exchanges, whatever. Second way through an ETF. Third way is through his company. And if you buy a stock in MicroStrategy, I know there's some ways, if you understand the stocks and how they work, yields and bonds and everything, you just get a little more different exposure. It's a nice way to own. But ETF, I really personally think, even though he's going for it, I think he's gonna affect his stock in a different way. Maybe not, but who knows? I think because if I'm BlackRock, I'm owning MicroStrategy stocks, maybe I'm gonna take that money and put it in the ETF, right? So yeah, that's another thing he mentioned. What else did he mention in that interview? Let's see. Okay, if we bring here. Will that approve swap? Yeah, he did mention that, and he said he believes it has to be approved. Let's see what he said. Let's see what he said about that one.
$10 million worth of Bitcoin, the asset, and you're that hedge fund. If you went to the trouble to get the crypto exchange account,
Actually not valid. Approved. And what makes you so confident that this thing's going to get approved?
and so yeah, that's true to say that. I'm highly confident it'll get approved. I think at this point, what we've seen is the FASB adoption of fair value accounting is a big endorsement of the accounting profession of this asset class. I think the court system ruling in favor of grayscale, I think that's a big endorsement from the legal branch of government of the asset class. I think we already know that in Congress and Senate, there are lots of fans that support the asset class. And I think even in the CFTC and 2 SEC chairs have all said that this is a commodity, this is a legitimate asset class. So I think that we have a consensus that's building, and I think the pressure is now building. So I think the real question is just, will a spot ETF be approved in Q4, or will it be approved in Q1? If you had to handicap it, I would say, I agree, you kind of go with a 75% likelihood. There's a 25% likelihood that some other crazy thing happens in the future, we don't know. But it definitely seems you'll have multiple spot ETFs approved based upon the fact pattern we see in front of us right now.
So, I mean, I read the ruling from Grayscale, and I read the letter that Grayscale actually wrote the SEC, and it sounds to me like from all the correspondence that in the absence, that the SEC declined the Grayscale ETF based on something. The court ruled that what they declined, the asset, the reason why they declined it are actually not valid. And therefore, that in the absence of them having any other valid reason to decline the Grayscale Trust as an ETF, the Grayscale Trust must be approved as an ETF. That's how I read the ruling, and I read 2 legal opinions, which kind of said the same thing. I can't remember the legal terminology, but it seems that the SEC simply legally cannot continue to withhold the ETF without potentially getting a case.
Not based on the current fact pattern, but what it does is it creates a clock running, like a 45-day clock that pressurizes the decision, and it creates pressure to approve it. The SEC would have to deny it on some other terms or appeal the ruling on some other basis. So again, it's not 100%, but it is which is the approval of all these spot Bitcoin ETFs. And so I think most people perceive that. It's just important.
Okay, so the crypto banter guy was mentioning that, well, I think the SEC cannot just keep rejecting the ETF like that, because that will be bad for them, because the court was like, hey, you didn't really have a good reason to reject Grayscale, and that's when they lost. That's when they get this nice bump here. This is what happened, right? It proved that they were just wrong. So Michael Saylor was like, yeah, but maybe they come up with a new reason, blah, 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 blah. So in short, nobody really knows what's going to happen in the future. I had some predictions. I think it might be November. Really, honestly, I think it might be November. And that's what he said, Q4 or Q1. Q4, I think it starts in this month. It's the last 3 months in the year. Maybe October 11, November, December. I really believe it's going to happen in November. I did take a look at some astrological stuff, and believe it or not, but sometimes actually it does allow you to see some things that happening in the future. And I'm seeing the stars literally aligning in November. So that's my target date. I don't know when it's going to happen. It might be December, but it's going to be after November. That's what I think it will happen. Nobody really knows what's going on. When will it happen? But a lot of people are very positive, and you can see in the chart, a lot of people are waiting for this to happen. And I can tell you now, to just like a summarization. So the conclusion of everything happening now. Yeah, the price is a little stagnant, and we're going to expect it to be stagnant from now till whenever. You might see a little up, a little down, blah, blah, blah. The big movement gonna happen when that ETF gets approved. And this will happen. Nobody knows when, but I can tell you, I am predicting might happen after November based on whatever predictions happening in astrological chart. Other people are just trying to speculate, saying it might happen in Q4, Q1, like Michael Saylor. Nobody really knows, but you have to understand that once this thing get approved, you need to get your money in, because this will be a once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, it's not gonna, like, if you don't do it today, you're gonna just lose everything in life. But if you don't do it at least at the same month, you're gonna really regret it, because the price will be compounding so fast that it's just gonna be crazy. You don't want to miss that. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me in the comment section, what did you like about this video? I did not like. What do you want to talk about? And peace.